What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel, and Rivalry Week is here. Week 13 preview predictions are kicking off with the biggest game of the college football season, and it means so much more than any rivalry across the nation. It means crossing out every single M across campus in red tape and referencing it to that team up north. It means referencing to the university only as Ohio, and having the hardest hitting week of practices that you will see across the country, and 110,000 strong will be rocking the college football world from Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's the game with everything on the line. Ohio State and Michigan. What's more to love? College football rivalry week is here, and we're going to dive into everything Ohio State, Michigan in this video. But before we do that, you guys know I got to say thank you for the support the channel has seen as of late. It truly means a lot to me. And if you want to continue to show your support, you can hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when videos get uploaded. Another huge way to help show your support is just simply by watching the videos. And you can also do more by liking, commenting, sharing, and anything else you guys may be willing and or able to do to help me support my channel. It truly does mean a lot to me. But let's move all of that aside and let's focus on the biggest matchup that's going to take place this college football season. Number 2 versus number 3 with everything on the line. The Big Ten title game and a trip to the college football playoff and the chance to compete for a national title and also bragging rights to the other school. Let's dive in to this matchup with the stats both these teams have put up so far this year. It's number 2 versus number 3 as it stands right now. The updated playoff rankings haven't come out as of recording this video. However, I do not expect it to change. I do not expect Ohio State to move from 2. Don't expect Michigan to move from 3. Let's dive on into the stats both these teams have put up so far this year, starting with what will be the road team in this game. It's the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, this is an offense that you can look back at years prior and say it's not as dynamic, it's not as explosive, it's not as powerful. And while that may be true, it's still one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the Big Ten. Almost 430 yards per game, almost 34 points per game, and Kyle McCord has finally started to settle in. He's playing the best football he has played so far this year. 2,899 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 4 picks on the season for him. He has arguably the best wide receiver room in the country, led by, not arguably, the best wide receiver in the country in Marvin Harrison Jr. 18 is going to get the ball a lot in this game here in the Big House. 1,093 yards and 13 touchdowns on 62 catches for him. And you have to be impressed with the way that the running back room has carried itself as well. Travion Henderson is running like an absolute horse. He battled some injuries, now back healthy, is running really well. 794 yards, 6.7 yards per carry and 10 touchdowns this year. But what's most impressive to me about this Buckeye offense is no, not how good they are on third downs. No, that, well, while they have some turnover problems, they've been pretty good as of late, but it's been the same 5 offensive linemen every single week that has started for this unit, and it has made massive, massive improvements as the season has gone along, and it as well is playing the best football it has all season long. Let's move over defensively to this Ohio State team. This is one of the best defenses in the country. In fact, you could argue it is the best defense in the country. And what's very scary about it is it doesn't force a whole lot of turnovers. Only 11 turnovers on the year. It doesn't force a whole lot of pressure in the backfield in terms of generating sacks. Only 21 sacks on the season. It does have quite a few tackles for loss, though, this season. Tackles for loss are a huge thing for this Buckeye defense. But again, only 11 turnovers, only 21 sacks. They are just a very, very good, disciplined, hard-nosed defense. They stop the run. They allow nothing long. Their pass defense, their secondary is one of the best in the country. And the scary thing is they are not fully healthy yet. Now, they expect to be fully healthy for this game. A couple members of that secondary, especially in the safety positions, that are hurt. And Tommy Eichenberg, that leading linebacker, the vocal piece in the middle of that defense, has been out for the past couple of weeks. However, they expect everyone to be back healthy and ready for this game. They're one of the best third down defenses in the entire country, and just because they haven't forced takeaways or sacks doesn't mean that they don't have the capabilities to do so. They have guys that can rush the quarterback. They have guys that are absolute weapons at being able to get into the backfield, and they have all the ability in the world to be able to force you to create mistakes and make you pay for them with takeaways. Let's move over to the side of Big Blue. When we talk about the Michigan Wolverines. This is an offense that has been fairly efficient all season long. However, that efficiency has started to sort of go back down over these past couple of weeks. Ever since Jim Harbaugh has been suspended, this is a Michigan offense that just hasn't quite looked like itself. However, for the most part this season, this has been one of the most dominant run games in college football, led by Blake Corum. Now, he's not putting up the rushing numbers that he did last year, but the man has 20 rushing touchdowns on the season, which is absolutely insane. On 180 carries, 888 yards, 4.9 yards per carry. Donovan Edwards has really started to wake up over the past couple of weeks, although he is not running like he was last season. So it's a Michigan rush attack that, yes, is still really, really good. Maybe not as good as it was last year, but it's still really, really good and really, really effective. And so is their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. 2,335 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 4 picks on 73.8 completion percentage. Now, again, he still has not looked like himself over the past couple of weeks against Penn State and Maryland either. And those are by far the two biggest tests that Michigan has faced so far this season. Something is going to have to wake back up offensively for this Michigan team. But otherwise, this is a really efficient team, one of the most efficient teams in the country on third down. They don't turn the football over. This is an offensive line that allows absolutely nothing in their own backfield. Not a lot of negative plays allowed by this offensive line at all. They do a really, really good job blocking up front. Now, defensively, much like the Ohio State Buckeyes, they're also one of, if not the best defense in the entire country. And I would be hard-pressed if I didn't say I believe these are the best two defenses in the country. The statistics show it. If you watch film, it shows. I think these are the best two defenses in the country. I'll let people in the comment section argue which is better. But for the Michigan defense, they are a better than Ohio State in a lot of statistical categories. That includes points per game, 9 to 9.3, 234.8 yards to 252.9. Their rush defense is really, really good. Their pass defense is also really good. Also one of the best third down defenses in the country, top 25 in that category. And they love to force turnovers. They love to generate pressure. This is the defense that has been absolutely dynamic this year, and it's going to create a lot of problems for this Ohio State team. However, we are going to talk more about some of the ways that this defense has been beat, some of the ways that Ohio State's defense has been beat, and some of the weaknesses of this offense as we dive on into your what to watch for, your keys to the game. It's just some things I think you should keep an eye on while you're paying attention to this one, and why shouldn't you be paying attention to this one? This is probably going to be the most viewed game of the college football season. Let's start with the road team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Kyle McCord is going to need pass protection in this game. It's an offensive line that has struggled against teams that have really good pass rushes, such as Notre Dame and such as Penn State. And Kyle McCord feels that pressure. However, he's done a much better job of being able to deal with the pressure in these past couple of weeks. However, this is a totally different beast with the Michigan pass rush. However, Kyle McCord is going to need pass protection because of a couple of things. One, Michigan, look, if you can't run against this team, which good luck running against this team, Travion Henderson is going to have his moments. Whoever runs for Ohio State, you're going to have one or two pretty substantial runs there, but it's not going to last all game long. What can last all game long and what worked for Maryland was hitting those short passes to kind of act as your run game. Kyle McCord does that very, very well, and we know that this is the team that has the ability to hit the deep ball as well. If Kyle McCord can get pass protection from his offensive line, can give time for plays to develop, the pass game is going to be able to beat Michigan. And when you compare this Buckeye defense to defenses that have had to face these Wolverines in weeks prior, this defense is vastly, vastly improved in every major statistical category for the most part. Now, maybe they don't generate as much pressure as you'd want, but this is the defense that, sure, it may give up those chunk yardage plays, but it's not giving up the big plays like it did last year. It's not giving up the 50, the 60, the 70-yard plays. Sure, it's giving up the 20 to 30-yard plays, but then it is impeccable in goal-to-go situations. It is impeccable in not breaking after bending. It is a tried and true bend if it bends, but don't break defense. The Buckeyes have been really, really good at forcing field goals instead of touchdowns this season, and you have to continue avoiding the mistakes. Apart from a couple of turnovers against the Wisconsin Badgers, Kyle McCord is really honed in on his mistakes. He's really started to play really well, and the defense is starting to force more and more turnovers, but you also have to control the pace offensively. Again, use those short passes to kind of act as your run game when your run game is not working. It's what hurt Michigan against Maryland, and Ohio State is going to be much more effective at doing it than the Maryland Terrapins are. It's going to get Michigan where it hurts. Let's talk about the keys for the Michigan Wolverines. What do they have to do to come away with their third straight victory in the rivalry? Well, you need to let the run game dictate the tempo. This is a Michigan run game that, yes, has not been fantastic in the past couple of weeks. It has not been its usual great dominant self. However, if we know this Michigan run game and you take a look back at the previous two meetings between this team, what has been the key difference? It's been Ohio State struggling to stop the run. Donovan Edwards broke off many big runs last year, and Blake Corum is an absolute workhorse. Now, this is an offensive line that, again, I've mentioned, does not allow much in the backfield. You need to continue to push this Ohio State defensive front backwards. And look, those 4 to 5 yard gains, it may not be much, but if you can also control that tempo, you can control the clock, and you stay on schedule, continue to grind your way through drives, continue to grind your way through first downs, you're going to get this Buckeye defense reeling very, very fast, and then that's going to open things up for J.J. McCarthy to be able to throw the ball downfield. And speaking of throwing the ball downfield, Michigan knows that this is one of, if not the best wide receiver group in the country, that houses the best wide receiver in the country and likely a Heisman finalist that's going to get to New York. The pass defense has to be as sharp as it's ever been. Yes, it has been statistically very good this year, but it hasn't faced a lot of teams with a deep ball threat quite like the Ohio State Buckeyes. This is by far going to be the best passing offense they face. You could maybe argue the Maryland Terrapins there as well, but the Buckeyes love to run the seam routes with Emeka Egbuka. Cade Stover is a tight end that plays like a wide receiver, and then you have to worry about Marvin Harrison Jr. there as well. It's a very hard team to prepare for. The secondary, the pass defense, especially in those short gains across the middle, has to be very, very disciplined. Now, with everything on the line here, Big Ten title game, college football playoff berth, a chance to go play for a national championship, coaching may become a massive factor, and I know the storylines with Ryan Day over the past 2 seasons and that he's too soft. He can't get through Michigan. This has been a much more physical Buckeye team this season, and without Jim Harbaugh on the sideline, Michigan has started to go a little bit flat. It is going to matter. Jim Harbaugh, as much as it pains me, and you guys know the colors that I support, I wanted Jim Harbaugh to be on the sidelines. I think it would have made for a more fun game. It's still going to be an immensely fun game. You have number 2, you have number 3, you have 2 very physical defenses, you have 2 offenses that, sure, maybe haven't been what they've been last year, but can still be effective in what they do best, which for Michigan, that's run the football, and for Ohio State, that's have number 6 to number 18, have that connection flowing true and true with Travion Henderson mixed in there as well. I think this is going to be an incredible game, an incredible hard-nosed, hard-hitting game. The line opened at Michigan 5.5. It has dropped to 3.5 cents. Wouldn't be surprised if it dropped a little bit more before game day. It's going to be chilly on game day. It's going to be high 30s. It's going to be like high 30s to mid 40s. It's going to be a chilly day in Ann Arbor, cloudy, overcast day, a perfect weather scenario for Ohio State and Michigan. And you guys see the shirt that I'm wearing, and call me biased, but I do not think, as a college football analyst, that Ryan Day loses 3 in a row. I just can't see it happening. I got the Buckeyes pulling this one out. With the way that Michigan has played over the past couple of weeks and with the way that Ohio State has played over the past couple of weeks, it kind of feels very minimally like it's 2 teams trending very slightly in the opposite direction. Michigan, ever since they haven't had Jim Harbaugh, have not played their best football. And Ohio State is only continuing to improve. They're continuing to play their best football, and they're most likely going to be fully healthy and ready to go in this game. Even though they don't have Mayan Williams, the absolute bowling ball in the backfield, with the way Henderson is running, I think he breaks off a couple big runs. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will take some time to get going, but eventually he makes a couple huge plays. This Michigan offense will not be able to keep up. Ohio State forces a late turnover, and the Buckeyes will end Michigan's 2-game win streak, and Ohio State moves on to Indianapolis in the Big Ten championship game. It would not surprise me one slight bit if Michigan pulls away with the win here either. This game is a coin flip. Flip a coin. I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. This is going to be such a fun game. I am going to pick the Ohio State Buckeyes, though, to be able to go on the road go on the road, beat the Michigan Wolverines, and move on to Indianapolis in the Big Ten title game. Again, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to hear all of your guys' thoughts on this game. It should be a fun one from Ann Arbor. Best of luck here to both teams. And to you guys out there, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. Preview predictions will be continuing on tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, everyone, and go Bucks. Goodbye.